your rate as much as possible. Never go below what you need to live on a day. Like, do some math, find out what you need to live, and never accept lower than that, but be adaptable. When I first got in the industry, I worked as an AD. I worked as a scripty. Being dyslexic, that didn't last very long. But sometimes people just tell you to do something. I was a grip. And then, because I am a natural coordinator of chaos, I work well under pressure, literally, because I was training to be an underwater welder at one point. And because I'm good under pressure and I'm adaptable, I always grew up in a way like, either you find a way, you make one, and you won't always get the job. Like, you're never going to always be the DP, but you can be a camera assist, you can be a PA, you can always work as long as you are willing to be flexible and adaptable. But with that said, I think in the 10 years I've been doing it professionally, I've worked on maybe 15 films, I've worked on over 100 commercials. And what I love about commercial industry here, especially locally, is you can go home at the end of the night. Like, I don't have to stress about the next morning waking up and having to pick up a naked actor. That actually happened. It did, I'll tell you in the after. It actually happened. But like, you get to work with these wonderful creative professionals in commercials. Clients now, you almost get to put as much creativity into commercials as you do film. You know, there's some commercials out there that have impacted me more deeply than any movie that I've seen, especially this time of year. Oh my goodness. So I think as long as you're adaptable and you're flexible and you just make your own future, there's work. It was hard for a while, but there's always work.
All right, I have one last question before we open up. This is, you know, you may have answers. This sort of the what do you see in the future question. I'm sure you all kind of look that way. And as what do you see in terms of virtual reality or AI or just anything that will be sort of, or something that you hope they would create, or just fantasize with me?
From a VR perspective, I think unless headsets, let's say hypothetically headsets get smaller, they're portable, we always have them on walking around. I think VR video content, long feature films, isn't going to really catch on, I would say. That's just my perspective on it, unless they limit it to maybe a 180-degree view, because no one wants to turn all the way around when they're sitting down watching a movie.
It's really dizzying.
Yeah, there's a lot of factors that come in with filming for VR, and I don't know if that will necessarily catch on. Maybe in the gaming world it'll have more of a footing, but from a film perspective, I say augmented reality. There's a lot of technology coming in that's pushing augmented reality, and so like digital video billboards that could be placed in an augmented space, there's video work there, but that's also 2D video being placed in three-dimensional space. So from our perspective, it's still kind of the same content we're creating. It's just more integrated into the environment differently. But I think from a VR and AR perspective, AR will definitely probably make an approach in the film world at some point.
Video games are becoming more cinematic sometimes and more entertaining than a lot of movies. So I do think that VR video game aspect is going to take off. And for us, like what I wish for is that the hard drives and computers would be faster than the size of the media that we're getting to. Because every time they speed up the processor of a computer, they start making cameras that shoot 12K, and then it slows your computer down. So, I guess I'm looking forward to what are the quantum computers that are just not really won't matter anymore. But,
That's great. I was thinking about, as I said, I just love movies, but the first film festival I went to was South by Southwest only 2 years ago. Mosaic is 6 years old.
It was a lot of fun to see him there.
Yeah, it was like a candy store. I remember being at the downtown, and they had in the Weston, I think, they had a virtual reality and AR salon.
Yeah.
And what that meant is you walked into this entire floor of the hotel. You walk into this room, and everywhere you looked in the room, they had, you know, these goggles for you. And you could just look at all kinds of crazy stuff and talk to the people that created it. That was amazing. And so I went back, I was all excited, and I said, we got to have those for the kids. And so we did with Eric Johnson, our friends from Gorilla.
And Google.
And
Actually.
Google as well. Yes, yeah, exactly. That's true. Little small company. But they actually provided the faith, what do you call them? Shows how much you know about the industry, right?
It's the Google.
Yeah, those things. Anyway. Yeah, so they had the cardboards. Yep.
Yeah,
So
Google Cardboard.
Yeah, so we had those, and then they did VR. And then this year we actually went to a whole nother level, and so we had multiple users on the screen in the Dirk Koenig Cinema. And it was just so cool to see that. I would say if I had a wish, I would love to see holograms become more common. Literally, I would like to see as much, what can you do with a hologram, and how real of an experience can you push in terms of having actual images and space and people and things fill a space to some degree, right? But it's not. But I'd love to see that. I don't know where that's all going, but it's just, you know, for Christmas.
So going off of that, it is wishful thinking, but I want holodecks to actually be a thing. I want holodecks to be a thing. I'm a huge Trekkie, I do. Don't teleport me anywhere, that freaks me out. But I would love holodecks to be a thing. That's a huge wishful thinking, you know. Taking augmented reality and letting you be physically a part of the story would be great. On, I think, a more realistic side, and this is not necessarily film, I would like voice recognition to actually recognize different accents.
Wow.
I talk to type a lot as with dyslexia, and I don't know how many times I have to say because, or like just someone's name, and it's always, I was like, that is not what I'm saying. But I just, on a small thing, I would like autocorrect on phones and type to be a little bit smarter, more efficient, and talk to text. But wishful thinking, holodeck all the way.
I got one more comment on the VR end of things. We were just doing some filming at this huge amusement park convention over in Orlando, and a bunch of the companies that were displaying their booths for new amusement park technology had VR experiences, and we got to test some of those out, and I really learned a lot about the limitations that that's going to have. And I mean, number one is just computing power and availability of space. So they created this. One of them had an experience. You throw a headset on, a backpack. It's got a computer in the backpack and a battery pack, and you can walk around this maze that they can adjust different panels to create different experiences for you. And you're walking around in a VR space. You got this little gun thing. You're shooting stuff, but I thought it was really cool. But I mean, you could see probably 20 feet in virtual reality in front of you, and then it starts getting blurry and all pixelated off in the distance, and I just felt like that wasn't an immersive experience. And if these are things that aren't even implemented yet, the kind of future things, and I think it has a lot of ground they need to cover before they really take off. But yeah, that's just my thoughts on that. Seeing what these huge tech companies are putting together for these more accessible, portable, virtual reality systems. And there was one that was a movie experience, and you sat down in a chair and the chair moved. It was like the real D seat thing here in the theater. And I thought that was really immersive, but I got motion sick like 20 seconds. And so that's another problem. Filmmakers were used to throwing a camera on a Steadicam and doing a Steadicam shot. Those can't exist in VR, because as soon as you do that, it's essentially like you're sitting in one place and you're just being moved around that space at free will. And so let's say you were to do a pan on the camera, this person's entire world is being spun around just to change perspective a little bit. So more stationary angles like this 360-degree camera right there, that's going to be what film would be for VR, unless they figure out how to accommodate for motion sickness. Because I'm not one to get motion sick. I can do like amusement rides and stuff, and if that's happening to me, I guarantee that a lot of people.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah. just thinking of this, have you heard of the Soderbergh mosaic